It's Minnesota Community Pride Day at the State Fair with In Commons. We're here with Deborah and Jake from Twin Cities Runoff.
Hi.
Deborah, welcome. Tell us about Twin Cities Runoff. What is it?
Well, Twin Cities Runoff is an online magazine. We do long-form journalism, creative nonfiction. We publish every week one piece of long-form work. And we do a lot of essays, some fiction, so...
That sounds great. What's the subject matter?
Anything about the Twin Cities, any kind of cultural idea about the Twin Cities, and we really focus on storytelling, so we're more looking for really good stories rather than like a profile or review or something like that. So.
What are some examples of great work that you've published lately?
Well, recently we actually published a story on Princess K of the Milky Way and kind of going in depth into Minnesota's princess culture. So kind of taking a look at the state fair from more of a how did we get here perspective.
Jake, what's your take on Twin Cities Runoff? What do you want to add?
Well, just that what drew me to Twin Cities Runoff initially was the fact that it's doing something that you don't see a lot of, or that I didn't see a lot of anymore, which is long-form local journalism. As more and more print publications are shutting down and migrating to the internet, you get a lot of short, blog-style news reports from around the Twin Cities, but it seems as if long-form journalism of 500, 1,000, 2,000 words is harder and harder to come by. And there are a lot of great local media outlets like TC Daily Planet and MinPost doing that more daily stuff, but we figured long-form investigative journalism, maybe even some first-person reporting is something that the Twin Cities Runoff could really excel at. So,
sounds great. And of course, the changing world of media means the changing readership and changing funding sources. Who are your readers? What's your funding?
Our readers we're kind of going for an audience of anyone who really just kind of likes to read online. People who like the New Yorker, people who like the All. Actually, MinPost audience has a lot of. I think we have a similar audience base. And right now, we're actually going to be starting a fundraising drive at the end of September. So check out TwinCitiesRunoff.com, and there will be more details as the month of September goes on. So.
And then, if all things go well, 6 months down the road, what do you hope the Twin Cities Runoff will be doing, producing? How might it expand?
I hope that right now we're just publishing one piece every week. I'd like to be publishing 2 or 3 pieces a week because we really do in-depth editing, in-depth writing. It takes a little longer to get good work out. So I hope that we can publish a little more, have more community involvement, more events where we'll be able to interact with our readers. So, yeah.
The criteria for the award you're receiving today from In Commons is that you're moving beyond current economic challenges with creative and proactive community and economic development innovations. Reflect on that for a second.
Well, we're really working with Twin Cities Runoff. We're working to build community by informing people about, where everything is coming from, informing people not just what's happening that's new, but also where it all fits in the jigsaw of the Twin Cities, and that's kind of we feel like we're innovative in going back to this long form style, and also combining it with new methods of reporting and social media. So yeah.
What a community that does not have long form narrative reporting or writing or perspectives. What is it missing out on? Jake?
Well, I think it's missing out on the human element of following a person or a group of people through several days or weeks of a project or a story in their lives that a short daily newspaper might not be able to do. I think the hyper-local element is that's a buzzword that we've seen a lot in the media the last few years. But I do think that with things like the Community News Roundup, we can go into very specific, small pockets of the Twin Cities and investigate the things that the newspapers might miss, or get to the stories behind the stories that the newspapers are reporting.
And any hint as to what kind of stories we might see in the next few weeks or months?
Yeah, we actually have a couple stories coming up. One about women in hip hop in the Twin Cities. We have one coming up about the history of graffiti in the Twin Cities. So there's a lot, and we'll be doing the community news roundup every month. So, yeah.
Wonderful. What do you, as writers, as editors, publishers, what's inspiring you at the State Fair today? Or what do you find unique or interesting or wacky or newsworthy?
Everything is unique about the State Fair. It's as someone who didn't grow up here, I always find like there's just there's such an array of people that there's so many different stories to tell, and like you want to go up to everyone and ask them what their story is. But I wish I had time for that. So yeah.
Jake, if you had to write a 1,500-word essay or narrative story about something that you've seen today, what would it be?
Well, at the risk of forcing my own narrative onto a story, I've always been impressed at the State Fair with how people from thousands of different ideological backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, manage to coexist politely and even enthusiastically in such a small area at the State Fair. And you have that exemplified by just how many different booths and tents and buildings are all right next to each other. And I've seen people from different sides of the political spectrum having these long and very respectful conversations with each other in front of the DFL tent or the GOP tent. And I think that might be, if I wrote a story about that, it might be a way to show that it's not just people shouting at each other, and it's not just sound bites. It's not just a little horse race. There's actual conversations happening, and I think the State Fair is one place where that can really happen.
Minnesota State Fair facilitating Minnesota Nice. Well, Deborah and Jake, thanks so much for talking with us, and congratulations on the award. And I'm going to check out Twin Cities Runoff myself. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.